Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Lube Reviews. When we first started this show, we were dropping 30% of our frames. We are now down to 7.3% dropping of frames. So hopefully the internet can hold it together today. Woo! Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for coming back to another episode of Lube Reviews, the destination for critical thinking in the realm of the unexplained. I'm your host, Luis Jimenez. Please do not forget, smack that like, share, subscribe button, and also ring that bell. That way you're notified every time we go live. You know, the old YouTube algorithm stuff. Yay. If you really love the show, we've got super chats open. Hello to everyone in the chat, by the way. Simon Fly, Puxley, Fortuki, Steve Long, Lord Ludacris, Sparky Pilot. You guys, thank you all so damn much. Blaster Axe, oh yo, you're here live. Cliplizier, Pat Calabria, Brad Berry, B Baker, all of you, thank you so damn much. I'm sure everybody will start pouring in as the show goes on. Which, by the way, share the hell out of the show. This should be a pretty good one. What are we going to be talking about? So today we're going to be covering Sean Cahill and his, for lack of better terms, threat to Stephen Greenstreet, John Greenewald, and Susan Gough, particularly. Rob Heatherly's son gets physical with ufologist Michael Huntington at the Ozark UFO Conference and doesn't back down, you know, and then Rob Heatherly doubles down on the assault. He's lucky that no charges were pressed. We're going to have Michael on the show on Friday, and we're going to talk about this in detail. So tune in Friday. With all of that, always do this. Always forget. You know what? I'm just going to have to start doing it this way. I'm going to have to start doing it with the volume button, by golly. Always forget to kill the music. Anyway, where is the music? There it is. Okay. So, okay, where do we begin? Oh, wait. We've got other stuff to talk about as well. And then we've also got, well, Nick Pope, you know, the picture that's floating around, Nick Pope and his Batmobile over at the UFO conference, and a couple things that have been said, as far as, you know, how these UFO celebrities show up to these UFO conferences in limousines and super nice cars. And I don't know why they do that. I think part of it is just to set themselves apart from the rest of the plebeians at the event. Puxley, thank you for the $5 super chat donation. I appreciate it. Much love back at you. Thank you so damn much. So let's switch over to our good old studio format here. And oh boy, where do we begin? Well, the first thing, I guess let's just start here, because it's the first thing I bookmarked for the show. I saw this because Sean Cahill has had me blocked for a long time. I don't see his tweets, and it's actually a good thing. I prefer not to. But over the weekend, Jeremy McGowan took this photo from good old Sean Cahill at Minty Hyperspace. And it's a gif of Ryan Gosling. How dare you use a national treasure in a threat? And it looks like he sent it out at 2:21 in the morning. So I wonder what he was doing at 2:21 in the morning to tweet something like this. No offense to folks with Greenstreet, Go, Gal, Wall, or Duh sounds in their name, because you should learn to mask your router locations. Y'all kind of stinky at this for payroll. So, again, as we've highlighted on this show so many times, how this community, not the community, but the figureheads, who have things pinned to their profiles that say, you know, I will never stand for violence, or I'll always do the right thing. Bullying will not be allowed. They do all of those things that are pinned on that tweet behind the scenes, and they've been doing it behind the scenes for a long time. And little slip-ups like this give you a small window into who these guys really are. This guy is tracking router locations to figure out where people are tweeting and writing things that are negative about UFOs. And he feels compelled to figure out where they're doing that from. Where is the router in which they sent that message from? Why would you need that information? What does that have to do with whether what they're tweeting or writing is right or wrong? What is the point of finding somebody's router location unless you're going to maybe show up there? I don't know. Like, you guys, especially when you're drunk or stoned out of your mind, which is probably what you were, because he doesn't do this shit when he's sober. And I wonder if he's deleted this tweet. Does anybody out there know? Does anybody out there know if Sean Cahill has just doubled down and let this tweet stay where it is? Because again, I don't have access to his account. Hacking is illegal, says YOY Fools. That might be another reason why you're trying to figure out the router location, so you can hack their computer. Or really, let's be honest, get somebody else to hack their computer. Because as we've gotten emails from producers of other shows confessing that behind the scenes, guys like Rob Heatherly and Lou Elizondo were looking for people and where they were and their personal information and their records so they could use anything that's in that sliver of the information gap. They'll use it full bore against you. Anything that they find in those sections. Because it's not about truth. It's about making you look like an absolute maniac. And it's simply for asking questions or doing journalistic work that leads to real answers on the spooky, fake lore that you guys have been pushing, especially in Cahill and Elizondo's case since 2017. But in the case of Elizondo, I mean, he's got ties that go way earlier than the Bigelow era and the whole Skinwalker Ranch with OSAP. These guys are trying really hard to hide who they are. And every once in a while, you get a slip up like this. And to me, it speaks volumes that Sean Cahill hasn't learned a damn thing. He has no remorse. He hasn't really thought about what his actions can lead to or inspire others to do. Because you telling all of your sycophants and your congregation that, hey, no offense, but all of these people that have these sounds, I mean, Greenstreet, that's obviously John Greenewald and Stephen Greenstreet. Gough, that's clearly Susan Gough, or Go, depending on how you pronounce it. Again, we have confirmed a million times, it's Gough. It is Gough, 100%. We have an email from her saying it. Well, we don't, but Jazz Shaw does, which was shown on this show. You guys should learn how to mask your router locations. So you're telling your entire congregation, these guys need to be taken down. These guys need to be hacked. These guys need to be found. And what? And people just want to label this shit drama. Oh, I don't want to hear about this, man. Oh, I don't get it. It's all drama. Leave me out of it. I'm just here for aliens. There are no fucking aliens. They're not here. Here. There are no aliens here. Okay? There's no extraterrestrials here. It's just this shit. Don't forget, Cahill's involved with Project Nanu. They have an app and would vary a perfect way for him to obtain people's info. Yeah, it would be a perfect way for him to obtain people's info. If you're signing up for the Nanu project, which I don't know if we completely dove into. I've been meaning to, because this is one of these stupid little things that Cahill's a part of and a lot of other familiar idiots. So, Investigate the Unknown presents Nanu, and then we meet the team here, and we've got Nicholas Martin, Ed Crowther, Philip Jansen, Hollywood, who's a non-executive director and showed up in a fucking commercial for Moon Pies, and then you've got Sean Cahill here, who's the global platform and projects advisor, who's also a spokesperson for Moon Pies, tweeting out that he's going to what? Exactly. When he tracks these people's servers down. All this love and light bullshit. All this stuff that he sells. Updates. Let's see what this stupid thing even means. At Nanu, we promise to ignite the flame of discovery and empower investigative, problem-solving, and creative individuals to investigate, discover, and share the unknown in a scientific and approachable way. Unless, of course, you're Melinda Leslie getting berated by 6'3" Sean Cahill at a fucking UFO convention. Unless you're her. We are committed to a free, open platform built, quote, for the people, by the people, fostering a community that comes together to uncover the mysteries of the universe together. With a strong focus on transparency, credibility, and community. Well, you got the transparency part right, especially when it comes to other people's servers. But the credibility and community part, yeah, no. No. We're dedicated to protecting your data, core values. You're absolutely right, Heather Birdie, right here. Protecting your data, you're going to trust the asshole who just said this about two journalists and a lady that works at the Department of Defense? I don't understand wall or duh. Did anybody understand what those meant? who he's talking about when he says wall or duh sounds in their name? But yeah, they're going to protect your data, the core values, and the privacy and safety of our global community. What a crock of shit. What a crock of shit. While challenges may arise, our unwavering commitment to these principles will always remain a top priority. We are driven by a passion for doing good for mankind and supporting our community's quest for a better understanding of the world and our place within the universe. What a bunch of hippie bullshit. Could somebody please do me a favor and tag Hollywood and ask her if she endorses this kind of behavior, both personally or at Nanu? Nanu. That's another thing. Like, he had a problem with the hashtag and the event name, The Big Phone Home, because it was too UFOtainment. But they've got a Nanu. Robin Williams, anyone? Nanu. Anyone. They probably didn't use the second Nanu because they probably would have gotten sued. The power of telling real stories from real people brings discoveries to life, connecting us with wonders of the unknown and inspiring others to join our journey of exploration and share their experiences. Whether you're exploring the mysteries of our planet or the wider universe, Nanu stands by you, supporting your quest for knowledge, discovery, and the spirit of sharing every step of the way. Together, we're creating a world where investigation thrives, knowledge is shared openly, and the pursuit of truth is a collective effort. Quote, for the people, by the people. And then we forgot to end the quote. Do not sign up for this. Do not put your email on this unless it's a burner and you're just curious. But yes, I agree with this. This is a perfect way to obtain people's information and present it as this team of trustworthy individuals when you've got this psychopath who has had so many stories of aggressive behavior. We have the AI transcript of him talking mad shit about David Fravor. Do you think I've been disrespectful to David Fravor just because I think he's mistaken in what he saw? Versus this guy who said he would have knocked him down a peg or two if he was his commanding officer? Because his ego was just too big. This cop just couldn't take the ego on David Fravor. He hated the guy. He hated me. Again, we're gonna have to just sort of re-highlight this episode, I think. We have Lizzie Borden talking about Sean Cahill berating Melinda Leslie at a fucking Melinda Leslie. I have a lot of issues with the things Melinda Leslie says. I don't agree with them. But she is the sweetest lady on the planet. There's no excuse anyone that big and that fucking scary should be berating anybody at a UFO conference. But it doesn't end with him. This whole 6'3" bigger than you thing is now making its way to UFO cons, which is weird. But here's another great part that I just noticed. Daniel Zetterstrom is also on Nanu. This is the guy who doxed our co-host, Rather. This is him. On the biggest podcast in the world when it comes to UFOs. One of the biggest. I can't say it's the biggest, but it's definitely in the top 5, if not top 3. Money maker, revenue maker, and bullshit spreader. I know those first two are kind of similar, but you kind of have to count them twice when you're making $200,000 a year, I'm sure, at this point. I wonder if all of these people know about that. I like Jesse Peak. I know Jesse Peak, Dolphin fan. He's a nice guy. But yeah, I don't know if Jesse Peak knows that Dan Zetterstrom doxed our co-host and that this guy is a complete psychopath who disguises everything with love and light. All of the stuff that I told you about last week when it comes to the Canadian UFO effort was ruined by this guy. This guy has the biggest ego in all of this. Man, what a jerk. Let me see something here real quick. How many frames? Okay, we're doing real good. No drop frames. We're doing pretty good here. I have to look this up real quick because I'm pretty sure I can find it quickly. I want to look up our Thin Lizzie Borden interview and find her story, because I'm tired of kind of just giving this side of it. I want you guys to hear it for yourself, because I don't think a lot of people saw this show. And I will relink this interview in the description below. We had this discussion on May 16th of last year. This was almost a year ago. Let me see here. Control F. Oh, wait. There we go. Okay, let me try this word. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to play this for you guys right now. Because again, like I think, and just to tell you also, the UFO Garage guys were right there. They were standing right next to Cahill and right next to Melinda Leslie. I talked to them. Joe was this close to jumping in because he thought he was going to kill Melinda Leslie. I'm not shitting you. So this is a corroborated story by 3 different people. Okay, wait. Sorry. Let me give you some volume, right? You guys probably want some volume to this. Here we go.
Over someone in the UFO community because X, Y, and Z. Like,
right.
I'm good at reading people, and so I didn't know. I'm like, okay, he's a person.
Yeah.
But
it was something that you saw where you were like, oh, that's not right.
Right. And that's the thing, where it's not done in anywhere in seclusion. Like, he had no issue raising his voice and yelling at her. I don't know what about necessarily.
You didn't happen to catch any of it, huh? As far as what he was upset about?
No, and that's the thing that, like, I was asking, like, a couple other people there, where it's like, why would he be yelling at her? And it could have been over terminology.
You weren't the only person who saw this, right?
No, there was, I mean, the live show was going on and they were doing it outside of the room. So there was a live conference happening in, was it a big room or in the hotel? Oh, it's just a conference room, normal conference room. Conference room.
Okay,
yeah.
So in the middle of this, does he walk over to her and say, okay, come here, let's talk outside, and then they go outside and you guys can hear him yelling through the wall? Or are you outside of the conference room and kind of walking by?
I went to the restroom, and so I, walked
past them. And so that's what caught my attention. I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know. It just, piqued my interest, and walked right past them to go back into the conference room. So I don't know how he approached her. I don't know if she approached him. I don't know necessarily what they were talking about, but it definitely was something where, what were they talking about? Or that's where I'm like, maybe it's terminology. I don't.
Was Melinda barking back, or was she kind of?
She
just taking his beratement.
She was talking to him.
Yeah.
So she had a voice, but she wasn't. Her voice wasn't matching his, and it wasn't. It wasn't. The volumes weren't raising.
There was a definite status, and he had higher status. It seemed like to you. At least from...
or maybe he thought that she was someone in the military, that he can raise his voice and talk down to.
Like, he's not a good person. And Jeremy McGowan has been saying this for 4 years. I genuinely, I don't know what the hell's wrong with him, and how he doesn't understand how this creates extreme people, extreme thinking, extreme situations. Honestly, this makes me fearful that you, Cahill, are going to show up at someone's house. Will it be mine? Because I know I don't mask my router. Do you know exactly where I live? My blood boils when I think of this stuff that he just did to me. And then you compound it with everything I've heard about this guy and everything that I've confirmed, not heard, confirmed about this guy. And this is your leader of disclosure. This is your messiah, this guy. Good luck. Good luck with Nanu, Hollywood, and Dan Zetterstrom. What a bunch of losers. Sit there and yell at a 5'4" Melinda Leslie. Because you're a bully, and you're a self-described dickhead. And one day, it's going to catch up to you. And I'm afraid that somebody else is going to get hurt when it does. All because you believe in Santa Claus. This is scary as shit, and I don't know how and why this community continues to support these kinds of people. It should be a badge of honor to be blocked by this jerk off. Okay, I think I'm done with Sean Cahill. I think. This was just an interesting picture from, he just posts stuff like this all the time. It always makes me go, God damn it. So Jay Anderson from Project Unity screenshots an episode of DuckTales, which is a Disney produced television show. And in the background, as Scrooge McDuck, looks like he's getting like some kind of checkup from a doctor because his coat is off. He's sitting on a medical style chair. And in the back, there's a poster that looks like an eye chart that you read for an optometrist. And the letters spell out, ask about Illuminati. The Illuminati are a real thing, man. They are a group of rich misfits, but they do not control the world. They're not the puppet masters of anything. And I would say, I don't even know if the Illuminati is real. I would say secret societies are real. That's for sure. But just because it's in a Disney cartoon does not mean it's true or a real conspiracy or a planted thing by the Illuminati. It's so silly, man. Like, Disney has been sneaking in dicks and jokes and naked women in their animations since the beginning of the studio. Animation studios used to be packed with nothing but men. It was literally a locker room of guys who were drawing all day, and they'd get bored and put little messages like this in the background as Easter eggs for themselves, for all the work they put, just like game designers put Easter eggs in their games, just like film directors put Easter eggs in their films. This is the exact same thing. It does not mean that somebody from the Illuminati or an animator at Disney was a member of the Illuminati and just snuck this in. And because the Illuminati wanted to give everybody a message. That's not what's happening here. Complizzier, thank you so much for the $5.51 donation. It says, Lou, brother, Cahill is a moon pie full of shit. I agree. I agree with that 1,000,000%. And hey, Arden Paranormal is here. Our mod, our wonderful mod. Thank you for being here, Arden. I didn't see you at the beginning, but of course you snuck in here. So thanks for being here. So yeah, just quickly wanted to touch about that. Don't want to spend too much time on it, but it's just another one of these stupid things. This, I think, was a quote that a lot of people are overlooking from Sean Kirkpatrick. And I wanted to read it. It was put out by William G. Pullen. And this was something that obviously we've spoken about on the show, but I think just on its own, it's beautifully highlighting. So this whole thing, this whole op-ed from Christopher Mellon, that was an op-ed complaining about science, the lack of science from a bunch of UFO researchers. No scientists. It's not like that op-ed was written by 7 or 8 different scientists with PhDs, and here are their names, and here's their scientific issues with the paper that was put out. It was written by an intelligence community guy and a bunch of UFO believers. Okay? And they were bitching about, oh, the scientific this, the scientific that. And this is the answer Sean Kirkpatrick gives to those people in private when they say stuff like this. And this is what he said on the floor of Congress. Quote, physics cannot be reinvented to fit a desired outcome. Physics cannot be reinvented to fit a desired outcome. And analytic conclusions cannot be made based on questionable data and the word of, quote, credible witnesses alone. And when the data does not fit your theory, the theory is wrong, not the data. So if you're bitching about the lack of science in the report, number one, again, we've stressed this over and over and over and over again. That's only part 1 of the report. There's going to be 2 reports delivered every single year, both to the American people and a classified version to Congress. So the report is never ending as long as that office exists as it is. Thank you for the donation, whoever that was. I'll get to you here in a second. I see it. Thank you. If you're complaining about the lack of science, it's because there is no science. The thing all of these guys are screaming in spaces, which, by the way, we're going to be doing our space tomorrow at 3. We're going to be bringing in Matthew Riot, and we're going to go ahead and invite anybody like a UAP Mike or anyone that wants to come up and ask questions and make accusations about people. But we have to do it tomorrow because I have a big meeting on Wednesday, so I can't do the space on Wednesday. Physics cannot be reinvented to fit a desired outcome. If there's no science, if there's no data, and the thing going back to the spaces, what these guys are always saying in these spaces, especially about Kevin Knuth, is incredible. They were saying, oh, well, Kevin Knuth wrote a peer-reviewed paper on the radar data from the Nimitz. That's impossible because there is no radar data from the Nimitz encounter. We only have eyewitness testimony from one guy, Kevin Day. And then you also, I think David Fravor may have, confirmed the radar movement of the object from sea level to 70,000 feet. But even if he did, it still could have been an error in the radar system that was just installed and they were working on to calibrate and dial in. That radar was not 100% functional when the Nimitz encounter happened. But people, for some reason, believe there is a peer-reviewed paper written that was written by Kevin Knuth. This paper does not fucking exist. The radar data has never publicly been seen. And as far as we know, it doesn't exist at all. So you cannot reinvent or invent data. You can't invent science. If there's no scientific data to show, because there's no scientific data, you can't just make it up. Anyone. That's not a crazy thought. But not in the UFO community. Not here. This was something put out by Charlie Weiser, who says Elizondo being thoroughly unimpressed with Anjali's outlandish claims, saying that she can add herself to the list of people who hurt the cause if she fails to deliver aliens, and that she better not have an excuse. Newsflash, she failed to deliver aliens and had an excuse. And again, and there's people out there like UAP Mike and Red Panda, who I have criticized Anjali, not even criticized her. I asked her a simple question. And the question, and the reason why I asked her this question is because she claimed these aliens were going to heal people. They were going to heal her. They were going to bring us into this new age of enlightenment and healing. And I simply asked her, well, if that's true, how come they're not healing you? And boy, oh boy, did I get some shit for that. But I'm not going to apologize for it. Because again, if she's leading people to think that aliens are coming to cure their cancer, just come. If I hand choose you to go on this expedition to the mountain, you too will meet the aliens and be healed. That's what she said. That's what she claimed. But let's watch this video because this is pretty funny.
Have you heard of Anjali?
Oh!
I have. She can take somebody to a magic cave underground.
Who should she take with her as a representative for the planet Earth?
Well, I never said I'd go with her, first of all. So I don't know why someone's using my name in a poll without my permission, saying that they'll take me anywhere. No one's taking me anywhere unless I want to go somewhere.
Ooh.
So what are you waiting for? Why not go now? Why not go now? Just bring a camera crew, go now. Go now. You don't need to make a big deal of this. Just go and do it and prove it. Just go and do it and prove it. If I'm wrong, I will kiss her butt in front of Macy's window.
Oh!
But everything about how this is unfolding doesn't seem legit to me. You know,
you don't say, Lou Elizondo. This doesn't seem legit to you. Of course not. It's not coming from Sean Cahill or Gary Nolan or any one of the other misfits that you have under your belt there.
Sitting on a chair with, well, anyways, all you're going to do is hurt the cause. Because if you can't prove this outlandish claim, all you are going to be responsible for is the reason why this topic was never taken seriously.
You, of all people. Of all people. I mean, this is like classic video of the kettle, you know, pot calling the kettle black. Both of you are destructive to the movement. Greg O'Brien makes a great point here too. When God doesn't answer, there's always ET. There's always ET. And gosh, yeah, well, we have to, I don't think I bookmarked anything, but I guess we could just talk about it and we'll find the videos, I'm sure, or claims from people. But yeah, some of these Israeli drone strikes people are claiming are the TR-3B. I love how I don't know what it was, man, but it was a TR-3B. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that sentence, I would legitimately be a millionaire.
You've got to deliver. You've got a responsibility now. So
you've got to deliver, Lou. It's been since 2017. Where's your delivery? It's 7 years now. 7 years. Where's your delivery, pal?
Add yourself to the list.
Where have you been?
If you can't deliver. And you better not have an excuse.
This cycle of lording is coming to an end.
You better produce.
Simon Fly, did you have a hand in this? Because this feels a little bit like yours. This feels a little bit like your work. Rotary motion, controlled asset Lou. Oh, you mean me? I would love for Fake Lou to come up. Damn, is he here? Fake Lou, are you here? I haven't seen him. I haven't seen anything about his book. He's always selling his book in here. Love it. Love it. Okay, so let's talk about this. I guess this probably would have been a better segue from Sean Cahill, but yeah, let's talk about this here. So let's get to this here. So this is from Michael Huntington. And well, first let's go to Michael's page here. And again, we're going to have Mike on for about a half hour, 45 minutes on Friday. You're not going to want to miss this episode. We're going to talk about all of this, but I want to go over sort of the Twitter aspect of it. Because this, to me, again, like, this is flirting with disaster. So Michael Huntington is a paranormal writer, right? Like, I mean, he's worked on he's been on television for this stuff. This is his wheelhouse. He goes to the Ozark UFO Convention, if I'm not mistaken, every year. But again, we'll go into that stuff with Michael. But in other words, this is somebody who, in almost every single interaction I've had with Michael, he's one of the most grounded ufologists I've ever met, or paranormal writers I've ever met. And maybe because he's not a believer, I don't know. I'm gonna really dive into Michael when he's here. But every time, I mean, he really puts logic to when he comments on stuff. And so I've always followed him. He's always followed me. We've always had a healthy respect for each other, even though I think we disagree. But what I love about Michael is that he's backed me up so many times, man. Like, so many times when I'm getting attacked by the UFO mosh pit. Michael's one of the first guys that's usually one of the first guys that always steps up, you know, along with a bunch of other folks here that are in the chat. So what happened this weekend? Let's see here. Let me, amazing. Okay. So this is okay. So here he is taking pictures, having a great time, hanging out at the Ozark, you know, UFO Mountain UFO Conference. So here's April 13th. April 13th. I was just physically threatened, called names, screamed at, and intimidated at the Ozark UFO Conference for criticizing Weatherly Heatherly and Shannon Scott Wiki's presentation last night. Amazing and sad. Heatherly, so Rob Heatherly, I guess, was there making it was either Rob or his son was there making a presentation on his behalf. I'm not sure. And so it was Heatherly and Scott, but usually it's Rob Heatherly, Shannon Scott. Just caught that, not Weatherly Heatherly. Okay, so yeah, he corrects that in there. Okay, so then he writes, same day, to clarify, I was physically threatened, violently pushed, called vulgar names, screamed at, and intimidated at the Ozark Mountain UFO Conference for criticizing Rob Heatherly, WikiLeaks conspiracy presentation last night. And then Mick West asks, was the person who physically threatened and violently pushed you ejected from the conference? That's generally a firm policy at conferences. Michael Huntington, no. Rob Heatherly's very large son, Heatherly, was filling in for a sick Cahill. Fucking A, dude. Of course he was. It's like, let's give it from one psychopath to they're like literally handing off the torch. This guy's first fucking conference, and he's filling in for Love and Light Cahill. What a joke. Heatherly was filling in for a sick Cahill. It was a wiki conspiracy presentation that mentioned you quite a bit. I'm sure there will be a taping to pursue at some point, or to peruse at some point. Heatherly thought it was funny and was nonchalant about the violence. Charlie Bear. Oh, wait, a grown-up son? And then Mike writes, he's a big fellow. 20-something. So he's in his 20s. He's a big guy. UFO Shane. Unreal. Wise Monkey, who's in the show right now. You're joking. What the fuck? I thought you were on about Spaces. Violent cultist. Yep. Damn, I'm sorry that happened to you. Me too. Was it a speaker or an audience member? Family member of the speaker, Rob Heatherly. That doesn't surprise me. Okay, so then we got, I can't pull up Rob Heatherly's response to this, so I'm going to pull it up in a tweet that my buddy sent me. And here it is right here. So that Twitter space ambush you participating and pissed off folks, no doubt. You do that a lot and have been for years. You should try doing something related to UFOs sometime. All you do is stir. That's it. UFO late groupers UAP Mike says the guy who almost got into a physical altercation at a UFO conference for shit talking people on stage. So again, here's UAP Mike supporting Rob Heatherly's son beating the shit out of somebody simply asking questions, who paid to fucking be there. And what the fuck is going on with the Ozark UFO Conference people? Why was this person not kicked out? Rob Heatherly then chimes in, my son is protective of me. If Michael escalating an argument, my son isn't shy of speaking his mind nor backing it up when necessary. Your son physically assaulted somebody. And fucking lucky he was not arrested. Fuck, dude. This makes me want to go to more fucking UFO conferences that they're at. I'd love for you to put your fucking hands on me. I don't give a fuck how big you are. I'm not going to beat you up in a fight. I'm going to sue the fucking shit out of you. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to press charges as far as I possibly can. Michael responded to that, not what happened at all. He stopped me, threatened me, and pushed me. I was walking from the building. So this guy chased him down because God forbid you ask his daddy questions. His daddy who fucking doxes people. His daddy who fucking helped blackmail me for an apology for Lou Elizondo. A daddy who fucking is a news journalist now from a fucking garbage dump. A daddy who's got zero fucking credibility or honor. You let your fucking son do this and then encourage him. Someone is going to get hurt. And I promise you, it won't be a skeptic putting their hands on somebody else. It'll be a UFO fucking cult member that either shoots somebody, stabs somebody, or physically assaults somebody and really hurts them bad. It's coming. It's the chums in the fucking water. And it's been chummed for a couple of years now. This is so dangerous. The same Rob Heatherly that we got a fucking email about doing shady shit with Lou Elizondo behind the scenes on the Thomas Fessler show. And his son is the guy who replaced a sick Sean Cahill and then put his fucking hands on one of the paying customers who had his family there? Why do people like Matt Ford support this dickhead? I am going to get in touch with the organizers of the Ozark UFO Conference because I need an answer as to why they allowed this to happen and why they did not kick out somebody who fucking physically assaulted one of their guests. I can't wait till you dickheads end up in prison. I hope you don't, because if you do, that means you've done something really fucking terrible. But it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's no room for that. But that's what Lou Elizondo is best friends with Rob Heatherly. Lou Elizondo has weaponized Rob Heatherly's fucking 7 chromosomes. God knows how many passed on to Junior. I'd love for you to fucking come up to me in a fucking conference, pal. I would love for that to happen. I dare you. You want to come to my house? I'm sure you assholes already know where I live. Fucking psychopaths. Psychopaths. I'm not afraid of you fucking guys. And nobody should be afraid of these people. Speaking of Ozark UFO Conference, here's Nick Pope. This is how he rolls up. Everybody's like, oh, it's not even that expensive of a car. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? The big deal is that this asshole wouldn't have multiple homes and a car like this if he didn't turn his boring, mundane UK political or government desk job into the fucking X-Files. He does shit like this because you're beneath him and he wants to remind you of that. Both intellectually and financially. You can't show up in a fucking Uber. You're too good for that. You got to bring your car. You got to bring your fancy 2-seater sports car. That is, whether or not you think this is a cheap car, this is more than people's salary in a year, this vehicle. Complizier, thank you for the $5 dono. Rob Jr. is so big, they had to pick a building around him. Good fucking joke. I think you should have kept it with exactly as Ross Cole. I mean, if you wanted to nail that joke, you didn't have to put anything about the sewer or any of that stuff. It's funny, but yeah, next time just keep the original look. It would have hit even harder, but still fucking hilarious. And thank you for the donation. Amazing. So damn funny. Thank you, Complizier. But I mean, like, yeah. And by the way, just. Oh, wait. I mean, look at this guy. He kind of looks like death. I mean, he looks like a vampire. Nick Pope. He looks like a vampire in this car. It's like what we do in the shadows, man. Okay, so this was a clip that Emily Louise shared, and I think it's always a good time for this. And which, by the way, we should just re-upload our Marina Seren video that we made. It's on Twitter, but YouTube took it down because she falsely copyrighted it, like she does with anytime somebody makes a video about her on YouTube. Even if you have the original links to the public interviews that you pulled this shit from, it's insane. But YouTube's got to fix that shit. Probably a good time to remind people who Peter Moon is and the kind of vile shit he comes out with. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever heard of Peter Moon. He looks familiar, but I've never listened to him. I haven't heard this clip. I wanted to give you guys my real reaction, but as soon as I saw Marina Seren in it, that little Nazi, and then it was posted by Emily Louise, I was like, gotta listen to this. And this should probably be great for the show. So here we go.
My first motivation was fighting against communism because we were told that the plan of the New World Order families that wanted to impose, this, one world order was communism.
It was you can go back and study history and you will see in history that it was Jewish communists that were trying to communize Germany. And that is one of the reasons why Hitler...
I'll be honest with you, I thought this guy was going to be Peter Moon. So no, I didn't know who Peter Moon was. I've seen this guy around. I've never seen this guy around. But look how white these people are. Everything she's wearing is white. Her fucking look at this room. It's like like if Nazis had IKEA.
And the Nazis were so popular and gained ground support is because they were eliminating the communists. They were fighting the communists, and the Jews were piggybacked with them, these particular two Jews. And so this was a big problem.
My first motivation was...
Oh my God. If you're in the lizard people and David Icke, eventually you're going to end up here. Like, that's the gateway drug. David Icke is the gateway drug to this kind of thinking. So if you're into him, just be careful, because pretty soon you're going to be wearing SS symbols, you know, as earrings and fucking gold chains here pretty soon, because that's what Marina Seren does. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to play that video at the end of the show. Yeah, I'm going to leave the last like 7 or 8 minutes to replay our little edited fun video of fucking Nazi Marina Seren. It's a chef's kiss. Yeah. Okay. So this was interesting. And this was put out. I got to go listen to Jay Anderson and Mick West. I know they had a discussion, and I'm interested to listen to that discussion. I just haven't had time yet. But this was shared by John Greenewald. He retweeted Jay Anderson's video here. But John Greenewald says, this is a great question. Let me pop this over here. This is a great question that Jay asks. I've been working on the answer to it for a few years now. I have been more open. I have even more open cases since the CRADA is now should be given the schedule technically closed. The CRADA is technically closed. Also, the fact that Arrow referenced these results means there are likely additional records to seek out outside of what may be exempt due to FOIA. Exempt B4 and surprise, I have cases for those too. Fun fact, the U.S. government has been more transparent than CRADA and TTSA have been. It's true. Like, the government has been more transparent about this stuff than the TTSA or Lou Elizondo or anybody has been. And the United States government has very little to no transparency on any of this. So that's saying something. I don't know if it is. I don't think it is. I think they've already addressed this, and I think these medals will be in the coming reports. I hope they're not classified. I hope they're unclassified, because I think they will be unclassified because Kirkpatrick has already referenced these medals. They determined that they were metal from a missile casing from the 1940s or 50s. It's not alien metals. And this is how these alien metals got to TTSA. And this is an interesting little trip down memory lane, because yeah, this video is 6 years old, and this is when, like, imagine 6 years ago you were in the UFOs, but you were in the closet about it. You were in the closet about UFOs. You would read stuff when it came out, but it's not something that you went to parties and talked about all the time. You know what I mean? Because again, like, it's just not the topic to do that with. You like read the room, right? If you're going to talk about this topic, and 9.9999 times out of 10, the room does not want to hear about this shit. But just imagine, like, having met Lou Elizondo and then seeing something like this, or seeing something like this, then meeting Lou. Doesn't matter which order that comes in. But just listen to this and watch this.
Grabbing this stuff, I think, is going to, it has the potential, if it ends up being real, has the potential for being A, very dangerous that we have it, and B, shake things up quite a bit.
I find it very interesting that there are people out there who absolutely are convinced that they've seen what they've seen, And for that reason, I'm willing to listen. And again, that doesn't mean run to the hills with your hand in the air screaming that the aliens are coming or aliens are coming. No one's even mentioned the word aliens. We're not talking about aliens. We're not talking about extraterrestrial life. We're simply saying that there is something out there in our airspace we don't control. We don't know what the hell it is. And so if it's not the eyewitness reports, and it's not the videos, and it's not the electro-optical data, and it's not the electromechanical data, well, all right, how about material? Will that be enough? What you all are agreeing to do is to allow us, TTSA, to maintain temporary control of the material for the purposes of scientific analysis and research. And then I have additional...
Again, now think about this. And this is not something that I genuinely thought about at the time. You know, because this is so intriguing. It's like, fuck, what is Tom DeLonge doing in this? Who is this guy, Lou Elizondo? This is shot really nicely. Like, this is pure eye candy. Whoever's a cinematographer behind the camera is doing an amazing job. The tension that's being built through the soundtrack is sublime. It's got all of the makings of something enticing and something very tangible and real. And at the time, 6 years ago, we knew shit about Lou Elizondo. Now we know a lot more about this guy. And maybe this is like, you look at this and like, fuck, how did I fall for it? But if you just allow yourself to go back in time and be like, okay, where was my mindset on this stuff? Pretty much it was on the back burner. And then we started getting stuff like this in the Fravor and the New York Times. It was exciting. But when you go back and you look at this and you ask yourself simply, if these were real alien metals, why would you put them into a suitcase, then put them into a Chevy Tahoe and drive them 9 hours away to you'll see who? If you genuinely thought those things were real, they would be in an armored truck and you would take them to top tier scientists and you'd have one of those handcuff bracelets connected to the suitcase.
Additional protection here. I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's all lead shielded, RF, everything.
And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, this is a camera case. That's all they did. They just took a camera case, slapped a To the Stars sticker on it, and made it look like this super specialized case with foam in it. It was probably a drone case or a camera case.
We can continue to protect it rather than getting to fly home. I get to drive 18 hours now with this stuff.
Instead of getting to fly home, now he has to drive 18 hours. But the 18-hour drive home is going to give you shots like this and moments to sort of philosophize about what you're doing for humanity. And guess who ate it up? This fucking idiot. And a lot of other fucking idiots. Put that are not idiot. I'm not going to call them idiot. I'll save idiot for just me. Everybody, like, really smart people have fallen for this shit and continue to fall for this shit.
There's a little bit of an uneasiness about carrying this stuff around.
If there's a little bit of uneasiness carrying alien materials around, why don't you have a guard? You clearly had the budget for one. Like, I think that would have added, like, if you guys had an armed personnel there, like, just sitting there the whole time, riding shotgun to wherever the hell it is you're going, that would have been a nice icing on the cake. But no, they're not going to do that because they don't need to. Why? Because it's not alien materials. These metals came from Linda Moulton Howe. And we all know how reliable Linda Moulton Howe is. We've gone over that quite a bit. Again, check out our old UCR episodes that we're releasing. The first one I did was that re-released was Linda Moulton Howe. So go check it out.
What it is, where it's from. I think the possibility is exciting. Now, it could turn out to be a part of a alternator of a 1984 Cadillac. Right.
A 1984 Cadillac? No.
You really never know. But I think we have to handle all these things as if they are legitimate. Hi, Lisa. Code 2. Repeat. Code 2.
Code 2, Lisa. Code 2. Look at this. Okay, so he drove it to Austin, Texas. And who's in Austin, Texas waiting for him?
To the owners of the material that the material was going to be analyzed from a physical perspective, physical properties.
Scientologist Hal Puthoff
looked at from molecular.
Oh, look, there he is with fucking Uri Geller. Like, this is a framed thing for him. He's very proud of this bullshit.
Characteristics and structure.
So here we have Hawaiian shirt wearer Eric Davis, the man who's incapable of lying.
And then depending.
And Hal Puthoff. And again, at the time, you don't know a lot about these guys. You don't know that Hal Puthoff was a fucking full-blown top level tier Scientologist. Now, did he do that for intelligence or did he do that because he really believed in it? Knowing what I know now about that man, I think he really believes in that shit. And then we got physicist Eric Davis, the man incapable of telling a lie. Who's lied? Nobody's incapable of telling a lie. Every single human being on the earth is very capable of lying. Every single one.
Depending on what those results came back, we may look at its nuclear properties, i.e. the actual...
Again, Vice President of Science Technology to the stars. He doesn't work there anymore because they couldn't keep paying him.
Atomic structure itself. There appears to be some...
And that's the thing too, man. Like, follow Hal Puthoff. Hal Puthoff will only go where he gets paid to look at this. And that's why that's why he's known at every level of this shenanigans. Every single level, because he's been there at the forefront to be the scientist to get pieces of those contracts to look at spooky stuff. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. But the second that you run out of money, he's gone. Doesn't fucking care how significant your discovery may or may not be. He's out. Yeah, it just goes to show how passionate he is about this stuff. What?
Some trace amounts of some very interesting elements, and we have to follow the data and the facts. Let's see where that data leads us. I don't want to speculate or go down that path because, obviously the likelihood of it being from here is probably a lot greater than the likelihood of it being not from here. But nonetheless, it's a possibility.
See, so like they tell you both things there. Well, it's probably not likely, right at the very end. All this mystery and all these scientists, we're doing it. But let's be honest, it's probably not alien. Right at the very end there.
In the end, really, this is a journey about all of us and for all of us, not just a particular company or a group of guys that are going out and collecting a bunch of rocks. How we take this information, whether it winds up being real or not real or somewhere in the middle.
Real or not real or somewhere in the middle? Doesn't matter if it's real, not real, or someone. So we just covered the whole fucking spectrum. Doesn't matter. So it doesn't fucking matter. All that matters is what, Lou?
Ultimately, it's a conversation that people need to have amongst themselves.
It's a conversation that he thinks everyone should have amongst themselves.
How is a society?
Why? You just told us that metal probably wasn't anything. Why are you the guy igniting this conversation, counterintelligence guy? Mr. I hate ufology guy. Never liked it, never will. He came in here to do his job. Counterintelligence. Counterinsurgency. Those were his words.
Society we feel about the notion that maybe we're not the only ones.
Maybe we're not the only ones. We're going to spend 5 or 6 years looking at metal or saying we're looking at metal, not really looking at it, but taking it from somebody, then turning around and selling it to the Army. Then the Army and the DOD took a look at it finally, and they determined that, yeah, it's just missile casings from a fucking rocket. And I love how they put these metals in a filing cabinet. A filing cabinet, you guys. I mean, it's got a lock on it, but this is a filing cabinet that doubles as a safe. No, I'm sorry. If you really thought that these were genuine alien artifacts, this is not the thing you put it in. Look at this fucking thing. Crowbar. I'm thinking you could crowbar this thing. No problem. Definitely put it on a fucking hand cart and roll it out if you had to, worst case. These people are lying to you. They're taking you for a fucking ride, and guys like Hal Puthoff, all they're doing is positioning themselves to do stupid experiments like this with government dollars, with your tax dollars. He wants another TTSA job funded by Uncle fucking Sam. That's why you got NANU and Americans for Safe Aerospace and the Galileo Project and the billions of other foundations, the Soul Foundation. I mean, we've covered all of these morons, but all of these guys, they're not morons. I take that back. They're brilliant. They're brilliant at positioning themselves and lobbying themselves to collect tax dollars to look at nonsense. Just because we're at a point in time where it looks like there's going to be a lot of frivolous spending on this part of the sky and this part of defense. Because again, the Department of Defense is catching up to this stuff. We've never had to deal with countries coming here with hardware before. That hasn't happened since the American and British War. It hasn't happened since 1776, an imminent threat on the United States, where other boats are parked right off of our shores. Now it's happening today in drone form. And we are scrambling to catch up to this problem. And I think in the coming years, that's going to be evident. I mean, look at what just happened in Jerusalem. Nobody got killed, but that air defense dome didn't get all of them. And that's one of the most advanced air defenses on the planet. Only one, I mean, it was a little girl. Unfortunately, she's in critical condition, or pretty bad condition from what I've heard on the news this morning. It goes to show you how great the Israeli air defense is, but that it's got vulnerabilities. And I could promise you that the United States, I don't think has air defense systems like that in New York City. Doesn't have it in DC. I don't remember them installing that kind of shit here in LA. So again, like we've said it so many times. I mean, we do have it on ships mounted. That for sure. It's on our hardware. It's at our military bases overseas where we do all of our shit. And believe me, it is shit. Bullshit. And a lot of the overseas things that we do are the reasons why we have the problems that we have. The United States is definitely not innocent in this mess. But our enemies, they've figured out ways to penetrate our defense systems. And so, yeah, it's like we'll keep an eye on stuff like this, but it just goes to show you, like, here we are 6 years ago this was posted. Who is Tom DeLonge talking to here?
Grabbing this stuff, I think, is going to it has the potential, if it ends up being real, has potential for being A, very dangerous that we have it, and B, shake things up quite a bit.
I mean, they had him convinced. You know, these metals, if they're real, man, it's going to be dangerous to have these. So we're going to put them in a fucking, in a file cabinet at Hal Puthoff's place in Austin. Like, give me a break. Give me a break, man. Okay, so this was really, really cool. And I was just thinking, like, I see clips like this all the time, and I think they're fun to highlight because in the wrong hands, you know, a demonstration like this could easily be turned into, oh my God, it's alien technology. Clearly it is. How it's burning hot and he's picking it up with his hands. But also, this is technology that I promise you the United States military has been working on stuff like this since the 40s. But so this is NASA's space shuttle tiles that can withstand up to 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Watch this. This is amazing. And again, this is built by human hands, human ingenuity, human know-how. Turns out we're pretty fucking good at stuff.
In there at 2200 degrees per hour, so you'll see they're blazing hot. Now, it anticipates the heat so quickly that you can actually pick these up when they're glowing open in the middle. In there at 2200 degrees per hour, so you'll see they're blazing hot. Now, it anticipates the heat.
I mean, look at that. So these are space tiles that he just pulled out of the oven at 23 degrees Fahrenheit, and they are so good at dissipating heat that he can pick it up with his bare hands, and it's fucking glowing red hot. With different audio on this or a spooky soundtrack, you could say, oh, this is the kind of technology that's been reverse engineered and that sits on NASA space shuttles. How did they get this technology? How did they do it?
So quickly that you can actually pick these up when they're glowing open in the middle. In there at 2200 degrees per hour, so you'll see they're blazing.
I mean, just incredible.
Anticipates the heat so quickly that you can actually pick these up when they're glowing open in the middle.
That's amazing. Like, that's amazing. We made that. How long was this stuff classified for? And imagine having a re-entry craft with these kind of tiles on them and seeing something glow red hot, but it not be hot to the touch. And then that story coming out of a crash craft. You could see how human tech could possibly be confused for alien tech. You could see how a David Grush maybe might see something like that and go, holy fuck, where did that come from? What is that? Not knowing what it was. Blizzard, thank you for the 222 donation. There used to live a mini Yeti within Lissando's facial hair. Okay, you're coming in hot today, and they're funny. I love them. Steve Long says, the SR-71 skin would get as hot as 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit in the 1960s. We had the ability to protect against it. That's an amazing point. And if it was available in the 60s, that means they were working on it for a long time. A long time. And God knows what else they use that on, other than the SR-71. Because there are lots of uses for something that can burn at 23 degrees, withstand it, and is cool to the touch, straight out of the oven. Why don't they make fucking cooking pans out of this stuff? Right? Nobody's made a fucking a Hexclad pan, you know? Like Hexclad, get on this. Yeah, I don't know if you could. I'm pretty sure that's not how space shuttle tiles work, Lou. Pretty sure that's not how that works. Okay, gosh. What else? What else did I want to talk about, you guys? I think I've run to the end of my my tags here. But okay, so yeah. Tomorrow, again, it's going to be me and Matt Riot on Twitter starting at 3:00. And I want UAP Mike to be there if he's got the guts to show up. Let's see if he does. I won't be shocked if he doesn't. Actually, yeah, I've got a couple things I wanted to plug here. I wanted to talk about this, but I just haven't had enough time in the day to read. But this is, I'm on part 2. I think I've already read part 2, but I'm rereading it just because I like to get sometimes I'll reread things, especially if I only get halfway through and then I come back and then start rereading again. But this is about Christopher Bledsoe and the UFO Cult of Intelligence. And it's a 4-part series that Tanner Boyle wrote on his Substack called Getting Spooked. He's also got a podcast. I'm going to include this in the description notes after the show. I want you guys to go support the fuck out of Tanner Boyle if you've never heard of him yet. The writing on this, and we're going to break this, if not this week, next week, I want to get into this, and I'm going to reach out to Tanner, see if we can get an interview with him, because him and Emily are doing the best work as far as I can see right now on really going into the details and the history of these the prophets of profit, as I've dubbed them. And how close Chris Bledsoe lives to Fort Bragg, his relationship with that military base and the people on it. It's very, very, very easy to see how a person like Christopher Bledsoe could simply be another version of Paul Benowitz. He's just alive and well and kicking. I think there's so many people. He lives down the street from Diana Pasulka. Like, all of these people live in the same neighborhood, basically. And just a lot of stuff that I didn't know about Chris Bledsoe on top of the stuff that I do know about Chris Bledsoe. And again, yeah, just like it's no, I don't want to type my email. I already logged in. It's a great Substack. And I've also got to go in and start listening to his podcast. I'm really catching up when it comes to Tanner Boyle and Emily. They have so much content, and there's so much stuff that they have delved into, and really put a very human explanation to all of these things with facts. And so, again, I'm going to include this link in the live chat. That's how much I'm enjoying it. And then I'm also going to include it in the show notes, like I said, after the show. Please go put in your email. You don't have to pay to subscribe to this. You can choose a free option. But if you can support this guy with $1, do it, because he is doing amazing fucking work. Amazing work. And I just wanted to shout that out. I had the tab open, but it's just I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm not done reading the articles. He breaks down so many great things. I mean, like, we look at this archive, let's see here, Forbidden Sciences. He's got the Chris Bledsoe cult, alien abductions, the racial anxiety, Betty and Barney Hill reexamined, Forbidden Science Dispatches, which is looks like a 4 or 5 part series, The Charming Man Indrid Cold. He's got an 8-part series on that. Let's see here, State of Euphonian, Forbidden Science Dispatches, Olga Karolini's Beyond the Light Barrier 2023. I've never heard of Olga Karolini, so yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Let's see here. Yeah, this is great. Like, Getting Spooked reading lists. Like, these, I'd say Tanner and Emily are probably the most well-read ufologists that I've come across. Other than, and I don't even want to, I won't label them ufologists. I would just say researchers. They're the best researchers that I've come across in this topic. I can't think of anyone better right now. And again, I've only started scratching the surface level of their work. So yeah, go give them some love. Just wanted to shout them out. And again, we'll be talking about them next week. I also wanted to talk about Chupacabra just a little bit, because he challenged me to go back into the Discord server in which all of these really racist things were said. And he says, oh, there's context to all of these things. That's not what I meant. That's not who I am. But yet he admits, first of all, he apologized and admitted to all of those things. He apologized and admitted to all of the things that he said on his Discord server. So that's number one. Number two, he's also admitted that he's gone to therapy for anger issues and other things. Okay. So I went back again, giving him the benefit. And then I started remembering things, and I started talking to Matt Riot. I haven't spoken to Matt Riot in a while, but Matt Riot was the one who was warning me about Tupa. He was the one warning me about UAP Mike. He was the one warning me about Leah Prime. He was the one warning me about King Milkfart. He was the one warning me about Joe Murgia and Sean Rash. Like, he was the guy who was telling me before it went down, hey, just be careful with this person and this person. Not giving me information, just being friendly and saying, hey, be careful with who you're trusting and who you're interacting with, because I've seen these people, I know who they are, and I'm just warning you. The first 4 times, I didn't heed it. I was like, oh, no, I'm going to give them a chance. No, they're a good guy. You know, they apologize, this, and that. After the 4th one, I was like, Matt, I will never doubt you again when it comes to this stuff. And the 4th time was Sean Rash. He's like, this guy's going to stab you in the back again. And I was like, dude, if he does, that would be bold. And lo and behold, he sure as hell did. Literally a week later. And a lot of things are being said about Matt Riot right now, especially by the lowest form of person in this community, UAP Mike. Making a lot of accusations, connecting a lot of dots that don't connect. So tomorrow we're going to talk about it in our space, and we're going to answer any questions you guys have. What's any questions you have about servers or any of that shit. But so I went back and found these messages. Okay. And I can't tell you definitively on some of these what his intentions or his meaning is. But this one here is the one I guess I can read. But yeah, this is, I can't blur any of this stuff out. I'm not going to say these words out loud, but I wanted to read through this just so that way I can understand exactly what the context is here. So someone says equating all Trump supporters to QAnons and all leftists to rioters is damaging America. That's what I see from abroad. Chupacabra writes, racism is chill. People are racist. It's not inherently negative trait. To which somebody else responds, if you're black and want to help your community, joining a mob and letting your individuality is what he meant, will be stripped away while setting a bad example is going in the opposite direction. A deleted user, I don't know who this deleted user is, but says, I'm having a really hard time not becoming a misanthrope. To which Chupacabra responds, and racism goes further than the N-word or Jew. And he capitalizes those. Someone responds to the deleted user, I would say welcome to the club, but as far as becoming a misanthrope. Burlington Ramusin replies, reality is no longer privileged over non-reality. A primary engine of fascism is the creation of intellectual spaces where expert knowledge and science have no value. Tupa then chimes in, there are a lot of countries we respect who are far more racist than America. Okay. Deleted user writes to Burlington or Burlinghoff, like all the sciences today. And then Tupa chimes in, like, he just keeps hammering this shit. Slavery was a choice. And somebody writes, Kanye, not him, somebody else. So I think slavery was a choice. He's referencing something that Kanye said. But then he chimes in, Americans have nothing to atone for. Blacks fucked up. Africa fucked up. Someone responds with a watching from afar meme. And then Berlinghoff writes, Tupacabra, why are you spewing this bizarre bullshit? He writes, it's not bullshit. You have to really think about it before you react emotionally to the information. Deleted user writes, maybe we all deserve to be forcefully integrated into the coming Borg hive mind. Interrogate or die. Then Tupa chimes in, I'll prove to you right now that slavery was a choice. So he triples down. What's the context of this? Do you still think slavery was a choice? Because it wasn't. Nobody chose to be a slave. That wasn't a choice. You were taken by force. But let's dive into his philosophy. Evil Super AI circa 2030, deleted user writes. Kiwi Bunga writes, but social progress has nothing to do with atonement, especially not for the sins of the people that are long dead. Mr. B writes, European superpowers use their military advances to take over Africans with less capable military power. That is true. They also negotiated with African kings. Africans sold. That was one of the primary sources of income, was selling off their own people, while the king gets to stay safe. But the king, let's be 100% clear. If the king said no, they would have taken his ass too. Tupacabra, you ever seen the IQ difference studies? He writes, yes, they are hard to find, LOL. If you've seen them, they shouldn't be hard to find. A topic that will get you slaughtered in this age. Mr. B writes, and because of the views back then, saw black Africans as under them, thus, according to them, okay to use as slaves. Deleted user responds, so maybe that would be a good answer to the question I asked you earlier. The left goes too far when it demands those who live in modern times to apologize for that which is done lifetimes before them. Why wouldn't that apply? The right does not do this. They do. They do it all the time. And I think from a philosophical standpoint, I don't agree with, but I understand where this is coming from. The discussion of reparations, there are a lot of contracts that the United States government has not lived up to, primarily the one with Native Americans, and then followed really closely by African Americans who didn't even get equal rights until the 1960s. Equal rights until the 1960s. So, again, like I don't know who this deleted user is, but I can tell you they're writing this because they don't believe that the United States is responsible or owes anything to anybody. And I don't think 40 acres and a mule is realistic, but I think there are a lot of ways that the United States government can incentivize African Americans and make it easier for them to get loans, buy homes, and rehabilitate the neighborhoods that were designed to be ghettos. I think that would be a hell of a reparation. But we're not talking about that right now. Mr. B responds, you call that a choice and a fuck up of Africans? Deleted user writes, so it would be a perfect answer to my question. Then Tupa chimes in, yes, slavery was a choice. Which Mr. B, thank God, said, yeah, choose slavery or get shot. That was your choice. Choose slavery or be whipped to death. Choose slavery or we'll kill your children in front of you. And that's just the light stuff. Deleted user responded to that. Do you know that to be the case? Question mark. Do you know that to be the case? Yeah. I think it's been pretty well fucking documented that that was the case. Didn't early English slave traders work cooperatively with African leaders of that day? No. They did not. And in the very, very, very rare cases, it wasn't a popular decision. And usually would end up, if they were in the wrong place saying those things, with a rope around their neck. But for some reason, Tupa doesn't know that history. And sure as fuck doesn't agree with it. Because then he says, at any given time on the plantation, black slaves outnumbered their slavers. Please tell me what the context is here. Because we've already gone through a few times of you tripling down on this. Black slaves outnumbered their slavers. It took a union of states and a declaration of war and 4 years of civil war, the bloodiest battle in U.S. history at Gettysburg. It wasn't as easy as just picking up your tools and killing the white slaves. That happened in Mississippi, Alabama, where the slaves would kill their masters. And then you know what happened to them, Tupa? The entire state hunted and killed them. You're the dumbest motherfucker I've ever seen. And to sit here and defend this person as if this stuff has context and that people twisted it. No, this is you. Deleted user writes, well, not only is asking for an apology not extreme, who is asking anyone? Reparations, deleted user writes. And Tupa says, slavery is a frame of mind, not just chains. I wonder what Tupac Shakur would say if he was here right now, reading this with us. I wonder what Malcolm X would say if he was right here right now. And these civil rights leaders could get the context of this mosh pit of fucking madness. Let's just say we could snap a finger and they could understand. Oh, okay, I know who this is. I know where they're coming from. I've read these in context and I understand. Okay. I wonder if they'd side with you, Tupa. How about Maya Angelou? How about Martin Luther King? How about any black artist that you idolize? Do you think that they think slavery is a frame of mind? Slavery is designed. Systemic racism is designed. And it has been implemented for hundreds of years in this country. And up until 60 years ago, they just got equal rights, the ability to go to the same schools, eat at the same restaurants, drink out of the same water fountain, sit anywhere they want on the bus, walk down the fucking street. But I guess you don't get too much of that in Portland. They're actively discussed and demanded by the left all the time. I guess reparations. Kiwi Bonga responds, reparations are a joke from Dave Chappelle's skit, dude. I'm familiar with that sketch. Fucking hilarious. Deleted user. Okay, so that is where the left goes too far in your opinion. Thanks. So clearly whoever this deleted user is wasn't very proud of these comments because they deleted their fucking name. Kiwabunga says, it's absolutely not demanded. It's a black meme. Appreciate the answer. So keep an eye out for when your lefties start doing it and call them out for it. Which Tupa then chimes in. Reparations is not a joke to some, Kiwibonga. So he's backing up this deleted user. Come up here to Portland and you'll see a lot of people passionately demanding them from any and all white people, no matter their political beliefs or age. And then this is where, honestly, I got some disappointment in my gut. Because then I saw B coming in here and kind of, well, this is from 111. So 111. Yeah, it's right in here. So he loves that we're talking about this, Tupa, because a lot of people don't talk about race. They just bandstand about how woke they are. So this is great. And of course, we will all have our own complex ideas about the subject, so it leads to disagreements, and that's normal. But we all know one thing is for sure. No race is better than any other. I can't argue that last part. But there have been races that have had advantages over others for hundreds and hundreds of years. And the promises that were made were never kept. And anytime the black community, quote, picked itself up by the bootstraps, I mean, look at what happened in Kansas City. It was called the Black Wall Street. It was in Missouri. And what did they do? They bombed it. They burnt it to the fucking ground. They dragged people through the streets for the color of their skin. I appreciate the apology for saying these things. What I don't appreciate is the last 2 years of spinning this shit to mean something that it never did. You said these things. You meant these things. Own them. You went to therapy for these things. quit saying that there's context to these things. And if you disagree, oh, are you here? Awesome. No, but that is a funny joke. And that was a good show. We've only got 10 minutes. I can't invite you here and talk about this in 10 minutes, Tupa. But I would invite you to come on and talk about it. But we can't figure this out in the time that we have left in the show. Because I want to talk about this. And, I believe, again, even with these things said, I don't think I don't like them. That's for fucking sure. They don't sit well with me. But I don't think Chupacabra is the kind of person that would take the next step and actually act on racism. I don't think he's that kind of guy. And even with all of these things that he did say, the things that happened to his family and the information that was put out there, not only to him, but to anyone around him, was completely uncalled for. And the part that kills me is that you're sitting in spaces with the people who did this to you and then applauding them for what? Because now they're actually spilling the beans on the terrible people that you knew they were all along. Yeah. We could talk about this tomorrow in our space with Matt Riot. I think that's where we're going to finally just put this shit to bed and be done with this forever. Because again, like in this last week, thanks to UAP Mike, a lot of stuff has resurfaced. And I want to make sure we go over the history and the order of things in the way they happened. In the last 2 years, you guys, and when I say you guys, I mean Tupa and Panda, have taken these words and these meanings and have spun it into, oh, that's not what I meant. Yes, it is. In this case, in this specific case, yes, it is. But again, that doesn't mean that your grandmother's house should be put online where everybody knows where she lives, or pictures of your daughter. No. No, that's unacceptable. And if I have to choose I don't have to choose any sides. And I'm not going to choose a side, but I don't like interacting with either side of this. I really don't. And yeah. And the things that you said about, my brother's gay. Those are the things that really cut me sharp. And when I saw these things from you, man, they surprised me. Really shocked me. I was like, man, I knew he was kind of douchey. But being douchey is not a crime, and that's just an opinion, right? Like, I could have that opinion, and it could be wrong. But I never thought for one fucking second this stuff was in your past. As a matter of fact, I wanted to show everybody a picture. Because I wanted to... I had made a thumbnail. I was going to do a show about Chupacabra, and I was going to pile on, man. And I was gonna join in on the piling in. And this is the thumbnail that I made for that show. And I never did the show just because I even after I made the thumbnail, I was like, ugh, this is just so wrong. Where is the thumbnail? Excuse me 1 second, guys. It's not here. Where'd it go? I could have sworn I pulled it to the side. Anyway, I don't have it. I thought I had it. But yeah, it was just a thumbnail, with big picture with Tupacabra's logo, and it said, "So your UFO guru is racist. Now what?" With the screenshots of all of these things. Yeah, and I just couldn't do the show. It just didn't. I didn't. The people that were piling on to him, I didn't like. And I'd already said my piece. I had spoken to him in a space. And then I didn't touch this shit for almost 2 years. I didn't touch this shit. This stuff didn't start resurfacing for me until what I saw Skyfire News as an entire entity due to the best skeptics in their spaces. And all of those skeptics made those spaces really good. And that's why I hung out in those spaces, because I was like, well, at least here, yes, I don't agree with everything Skyfire News does, but at least in these spaces, they're allowing skeptics to come up and argue, just not argue, but just simply put the facts out there. And I loved that. But the second that Skyfire News turned on and embarrassed and went full-blown COVID anti-vaxxers on Manny 503, on Paranormal Chris, on me, and it was led by your asshole buddy Ashton Forbes. And when you guys started doing that shit, that's when I was like, okay, no more fucking second chances for you guys. You guys haven't changed. You guys are still those, and I don't give a shit who you vote for. You can vote for whoever the fuck you want. But I know that you guys vote for Trump because you don't think he's that racist. You think everybody's just overblowing, what kind of asshole Donald Trump is. He's the first fucking U.S. president that has a mugshot, and he's the first U.S. president to be in a fucking civil trial right now. He's being sued. And he's running for fucking president of the United States. He did more to divide this country than any U.S. president I've ever seen. And you guys love that shit. You love the chaos because you love laughing at it, because conversations like this are a fucking joke to people like you guys. Fucking people who got vaxxed are fucking CNN brain conspiracy, fucking sheeple. And all of the shit that you guys now push on Skyfire News, all of it is fucking conspiracy laced. None of it is fact driven. Very, very little of it. And that's why I can't fuck with you guys anymore. That's why everybody blocked you. McGowan, Paranormal Chris, Manny 503. They all blocked you guys. Any rational voices that you guys had on it, on your spaces, have all fucked off. The only one who's stuck around is Shane. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. And I won't be shocked here soon if Shane splits with these guys. Because I don't know how, you can't have your cake and eat it too, Shane. You can't. I'm sorry. I like you. I think you're a good guy. I actually listened to you. I listened to you in a space the other night. I think you had a voice changer. Fuck, you're entertaining, dude. He's an I think Shane could seriously start his own channel and it would be awesome. And you don't have to rely on any of these assholes around you to get that off the ground. And if you need help, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you. You don't need Skyfire News. It comes with way too much baggage. And I think you're a person that has some baggage of himself, but I think in your heart, you're trying to be a good person. And I've also realized just how intelligent you are. You're a smart dude. You're a lot smarter than the three guys you're working with. So, I'm not trying to snipe UFO Shane, dude. I'm trying to encourage him to do his own shit because he can. He's that good. He's that entertaining. Like, and he's that smart. Like, like listening to him speak as a demon the other night was so fucking funny. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, dude, this guy, honestly, he should be in Hollywood. He should be an actor. He should be out here, like studying improv at the Upright Citizens Brigade. He is like, I could see it. He's just a guy that made probably some bad choices in his life and ended up where he ended up. But I genuinely like, he's a Billy Joel song. He is the Piano Man. Like if he had followed his dreams of doing whatever he put his mind to, he could do it. I'm convinced. But I think he also has a high tolerance for bullshit. A real high tolerance. I think that's his biggest weakness. And just getting in his own way. But I know Shane listens to this show, and I know Shane respects me. I got your back, Shane. I got your back. You ever want to come out to Hollywood? I'll point you in the right direction, man. Stop working with chickens. Come out here and be a fucking busboy. I think you'd be a really good fucking actor. But anyway, you guys, that's the show. That's the show. I don't know how I got there. Lou, don't care about your politics. Mine are completely different. You're wrong about Trump, though. I'm not. He's very divisive. I do enjoy, I from a policy standpoint, there are a lot of things I like that Trump did. A lot of things. From a presidential standpoint, from a representation of my country standpoint, I'd never want to see him in the White House ever again. If he does, I mean, it'll be great for comedy. But I don't think it'll be great for the relations of anything. I mean, get foreign policy wise, it's not that I think he's going to end the world. I don't think he's going to drop I don't think he's that guy. And I also don't think he's the kind of guy who would, not that he wouldn't, but I don't think he has the juice to do an actual insurrection. I don't think he has the juice to become a dictator, because the military hates him. The military hates him. He would have to win over every single military branch's 4-star general and the basically the military. He would have to win over every branch of the military to become a dictator. And he just doesn't have that kind of juice. He doesn't. Yeah. But then again, Hillary Clinton was awful as well. But I don't know what kind of president she would have been. I think she probably would have started a war. I mean, yeah, both of them are awful. Both sides are awful. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not voting for either one of them. I'll be voting third party this year because I can't, because both sides are fucking terrible. And as far as I'm concerned, nothing has changed for me in the last 2 years, and nothing changed for me in the 4 years before that. We'll be on 4 years, not 2 years. In both of these presidencies, gasoline has gone up. Groceries have gone through the fucking roof. The valuation of the dollar has gone down. Debt has skyrocketed under both of those presidents. So, with all due respect, nobody knows how I lean politically. But I can tell you, I'm not voting for either one of these assholes. Depending on who was on the ballot, I'd probably give my vote to Colonel West. If I'm being honest right now, if I had to vote today. And yeah, partly it's a protest vote, but I will not be forced to vote for a douchebag or a shit sandwich ever again. So those are my views on it. But nothing but love for you, B. Baker. Nothing but love for everyone here. You're allowed to think however you want politically. Just don't be a racist dickhead. Don't be a divisive asshole. That's it. Those are my rules, man. You could like have fun. Let's laugh. Let's make comedy. But the second you start getting hateful is the second I'm out. The second you start saying shit like slavery was a choice, I'm out. So anyway, Complizir, thank you for the $2 donation. Says the Yeti that used to in Lou Elizondo's face is in Shane's now. Oh man. B. Baker says Shane has way more important stuff that he should be focusing on with himself than ufology. I agree. He's not a great judge of character and people are using him. I agree 100%. 100%. If he would focus on himself, man, holy shit. The guy's so smart and he's so fucking funny. He's so talented. I've heard him do so many, like he could be an impressionist. How good he's able to switch dialects. I'm not that good at it. Straight up. So those are the things that impress me about Shane. Yeah, but the company he keeps does not impress me whatsoever. All right, you guys, that's it. That is the show. Thank you all so damn much for being here. This was a lot of fun. Well, not really. I mean, we kind of reported on just the worst of the worst, when it comes to this topic. But sometimes we have to have these conversations. I know that some parts of the crowd doesn't like it. I think it's important. And I'm going to cover it. So it's when it's relevant. It's not something that we're going to do every single day, but when it's relevant. And there's a lot of accusations being thrown around about Erica Lukes. There's a lot of accusations being thrown around about Jack Brewer, about me, about McGowan, about Matt Riot. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow in a space at 3:00. So be there. It's going to be me and Matt Riot. And we're going to invite anybody who wants to come up and talk or ask questions. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting conversation. And I hope it's the last one that we have about these people and these organizations and these things. And I'll keep an eye on these people, these organizations and these things. And let's see if they actually change their ways, but I doubt it. I mean, these people have already shown their true colors. Yeah. Anyway, you guys, it's Monday. Have a killer rest of the week. Again, we'll be back on Friday for sure. We'll be on Twitter tomorrow from 3 to 5, and we have our rewind. I'm not sure which episode I'm going to release this week. If you guys have any ideas, hit me up on Twitter at Lou Angeles. What episode do you guys want to see? I can tell you the only one that's off limits right now is the last UCR show. And the reason why is because when I re-release that show, I'm going to do a breakdown of that show. And we're going to go through everything I say, everything that Rather says, everything that happened. And yeah, so we'll do that episode. But if you have any other episodes outside of that, hit me up. I'd be more than happy to take a look and see what we're going to bring out this week. Please, before you guys get out of here, Don't forget to smack that like, share, subscribe button. Ring the notification bell. That way you're notified anytime we go live, which is Mondays and Fridays from 3 to 5. And on Wednesdays, typically Wednesdays on Twitter from 3 to 5 as well. But again, we're switching that to Tuesday tomorrow. What else? Yes. If you really love the show, please check out the link in the description below. We have a Patreon link there for as little as $1 a month. You can help support the show. It goes a very, very long way. Once again, you guys, thank you so damn much for supporting this show, for being here, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. It's amazing. It's fun to see that people are coming to their senses on this stuff. And all of this stuff that I said 2 years ago is all starting to make sense now. Thank you so much for embarking on this journey of discovery together. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and thank you for subscribing to Lou Reviews. Until Friday, we'll see you guys, until tomorrow in the spaces. We'll see you guys on Friday here on YouTube at 3 o'clock. So have a great week. See you soon. Peace out. Thank you, Arden, for being my mod. I love you to death. Thank you, Dana Chanel. Thank you for being here, Bobby Broadway. B. Baker, love you. Thank you for being here. Jason Brown, Mama's Dope Boy, Complizier, thank you for the donations today. Seriously, man, you are amazing. Mysterion, thank you for being here. Jason Parker, you're a gem. Of course, another shout out to Arden Paranormal because I love her. Let's see here. John Doe, 75YBA. All of you guys. Who am I missing? YOY Fools. Thank you for being here. Lord Bass. Thank you. Screen name 229. What's shaking? Suddenly I don't trust Lee's judgment. What'd I say? Steve Long. Thanks for being here, bud. I appreciate it. YOY Fools, thank you for being here. Simon Fly, Artisan Tony, which, by the way, he just had an interview with Gary Nolan. Go check that out. Sandra McDonald, thank you for being here. Dana Shadell, 2 times the